This is a new one. It's actually kind of an old theme, sort of ongoing. It's called The Damned, for Charlie. The Damned. This was a period, in quotation marks. Just so it works on the page, you know, we want to get this right for the future. Diese Dichtung auf Deutsch wird gelesen hier und start jetzt. This was a period of pedantry and flippantry, which came to be remembered lovingly by the remembered and dismembered alike. They wore post-it notes and khakis. They drank Red Dog pina coladas of the mine, like the Coney Island of the mine. Remember that one? It was the Coney Island, the pina. Their lights were on. They had their game on, and everything was on. And everybody felt at home because, well, they were at home. There was always more, the mornings, the evenings, and the afternoons, waxing portentous for city blocks turned to cell blocks turned to cinders. More phallic than speeding bullet of John Deere's hydraulic hammers hummed and lubed up and ready, oozing a thick, viscous fluid, awaiting the steamy, hot penetrations of the slab, earth, Gaia, the mother of inner and outer everything. It was sufficient to say that they enjoyed the full driving experience. What they were told never to forget, they could never quite just remember. So they lived in the extended past. Cheap credit and hedge funds began to cover up the land, and the lives of the owners were well insured indeed. As rules were made for those who must heed them by those who would never heed them, and what would stay around would go around just as foul as that. While many were out mining the stores, a zone was created where occasional stalkers would toss their towels and cookies, but most were busy by day and busy by night, telling the world how busy they were selling art for art's sake up and down the rivers. Meanwhile, maybe in Manhattan, maybe in your pens, more and more poems were being created. Poems, everyone, Charlie, poems! Yay! They wrote them and they jumped in joy because they used words. Oh. And they connected the words with PhDs and mommy and daddy's money. It was created with endless question marks, always the poem from academia that ended with a kind of a question mark, a certain poetry school cadence. Gradually, form followed no one, feeding mostly upon function, dictated by the former, which followed itself around hopelessly. Lose weight and gain space. Lose weight and gain space was their basic advertising. And might makes maybe, over in Baghdad, maybe, might makes maybe, maybe was the basic clear and hold ideology. Deus ex machina. Sitting around, farting in their hot tubs. They were promised heaven on the installment plan, with no exit strategy. It all made good sense and sounded good at the time. Their marbles were laced with a magnificent possibility, and the bumpers were plastered with a syntax of bathos. Only the wheat pasters gleamed incisively. If you think this system is working, one sucker stuck. Just ask someone who isn't, and is still making $100,000 a minute more than you'll ever make in your fucking life. Two economies? Economy down in the dumps? Got you down? Join the other economy. Where we live, it's real easy. Well, their magazines were iffy at best. Still, they were read, almost religiously, and sometimes mostly they blew. It was, as they came to say, a saving celebration for everyone who was anyone. A pay-and-save revolution. You have to print money to make money, you know what I mean? Henny penny, they cried. Henny penny, they cried in higgledy-piggledy packing orders. In higgledy-piggledy packing orders. Henny penny, they cried. Henny penny, they cried. Marilyn Rothkopf, Henny penny, remember Marilyn Rothkopf? Henny penny, we got 24 hours. Henny penny, we got a couple of minutes. Henny penny, they cried. The money is falling, the dollar is falling, the dollar is falling down. And so it went. When it wasn't all over the place, it was all over their face, just as fat and bloody as that. Because they were pre-approved and predetermined to get their burger's worth. Finally, though, you remember the burgers? Like the girl who wrote the bedwetters. Genius, just genius. And Jim's Kimmy Limmel Live. Jimmy Kimmel's just live and genius. And wow, the mouses finally took leave of their senses, and the screens all went dim sum. The screens went dim sum. I love little dim sum right down there, downtown. Lost without their little famous clickers, they went roaming the floppy streets and subliminal cul-de-sacs. They went roaming the floppy streets and subliminal cul-de-sacs. Where were they? With unspeakable ennui, I saw a dove with radioactive wings and a fish with frog's legs. Cremation is almost perfect. I saw a dog with cremation legs. Cremation and dog food is almost perfect. I saw legs. There was a chicken eating range-fed, oven-roasted tofu buffalo chips. And an elephant in a duty-free shop buying up ivory stocks. I don't know what was going. There was a man eating his own flesh with rabid dogs, happy as fleas. Cremation was almost perfect. Cremation is perfect. Cremaster is perfect. Cremaster, York, everything's perfect. People were seen as things, and things as people, allowed to move up just one little parking space at a time. My bartender told me, "Hey bartender, what's up?" He told me that he was leaving. He told me that this was last call, and that he was leaving, and he would never return, because this is the way the world will end. This is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, with a whopper. You want hold the pickle, or you want me to supersize that?